many of you ever make peanut butter cookies? Here's a great tip. When you're doing your cookies and after you scoop them onto your stone, because we're going to bake them on our stone, right? Yeah. Take your cooling rack, flip it over, invert it, and then just press down, and you don't have to stand there. Isn't that awesome? Yes. Love it. So that is our cooling rack. So while this is finishing up baking, we're going to get some of our toppings ready to go, and we're going to talk about our cutlery. So if you will turn to page 52, you will see our forged cutlery, and this is really kind of our Cadillac of knives, and everybody needs at least one good knife in your kitchen. It's an absolute must-have. Now this is, if you're looking on the page, you're going to see the whole collection. This is our utility knife. It's actually a great kind of a triming piece in the collection, I think, but this cutlery is hand-hammered forged steel. So this blade is really strong, really durable, and it has a full tang. That means the blade runs the full length in the handle, so it's never going to break or pop off on you. And how many of you have maybe a big knife like a chef's knife in your kitchen, and say if you try to hold it like this, what might happen? It'll topple. This is not happening, or it won't happen with this. It's not as noticeable with the utility knife. Bigger knives, it's a lot. You'd be like, but this does not flop because it's balanced, which means it weighs the same from here to here as it does from here to here. And that is a sign of a very high quality knife, because when you work with this cutlery, that means your hand isn't working against the weight of the knives. Really excellent quality cutlery. And I always like to teach the difference between sharpening and honing your knives, because there is actually a difference. Every knife, no matter who makes it, has a little microscopic V on the edge of it. And every time you use your knife, that V will curl one way or the other. When you hone your knives, that brings that V back into alignment. And you can hone your knives just by running it through our honing tool, which I do happen to have right here. There's just two little ceramic rods set in there to match the angle of the blade. You just run it through, and then you just hone your knife. And honing will make your knife feel like you just sharpened it. Sharpening, on the other hand, is actually removing metal from the edge and creating a whole new edge. And you'll know it's time to sharpen your cutlery because you'll be able to look at the edge and you'll start to see little nicks in the edge. But because of the strength and durability of these blades, you probably are only going to have them sharpened once every 2 to 3 years. And that's the telltale sign, and you just take it somewhere. Like, I know fabric stores sometimes they'll sharpen your cutlery, or if you have a hunter, they will tell you. They don't know where to tell you. But I'm going to teach you a fun little trick to slice up your great tomatoes. Anybody ever buy these? Yes. And isn't it a pain to sit there and like slice all of them? So you can take, any kind of lid that has like a little bit of lip to it. Even like those little throwaway containers are pretty nifty. You just go like this, and then you're going to take your knife. Oh, she says. And just cut through, and it'll hold your tomatoes, and hopefully slice them as well. Those last two little butters in there. And there you just slice your tomatoes in half. Look at that, isn't that nifty? That is really cool. So that's a neat little trick. Aren't you glad you came? Yes. And here's another little tip. Do you guys know the proper way to store tomatoes? Where should you store your tomatoes? I don't know. On the counter. Ding, 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 ding. Chocolate for kids. Yes. You don't want to store tomatoes in the refrigerator. Storing them in the refrigerator will actually, they will lose flavor and they become very mealy. So store them out on the counter. And if they are larger tomatoes, should you store them stem up or stem down? Down. Always store your tomatoes stem down. That will help them last longer and it keeps the moisture in. So there's your tip. So there we go. We have those ready to go on top. Okay. And I just wanted to quickly show you as well our simple slicer. We don't get to use anything in our recipe tonight, but you have to see this awesome tool. So I think, Kayla, was that yours? Yes. Come on down. So I have a little tomato, so you can, or not tomato, potato. So you can see, hang on. Let's see how this works. Oh, she's getting this going. Oh, it would help if I open the right oven. Ooh, yummy, bubbly, golden brown. Doesn't that look yummy? For the camera, there we go. And here's a great benefit of stoneware. When your goodies come out of the oven, it will keep things warm for about 20-30 minutes. So when you go back for seconds, it'll be nice and warm. So we're going to use our simple slicer. This actually has 3, thicknesses of your blade. We have it in the lock position right now, which is how you want to keep it when you store it. But let's say we wanted to do some potato chips with our microwave chip maker that we have in our catalog. You would want to set it on the lowest setting, which is 1. And then we're going to take, yes, kind of stick those prongs in there. Don't be afraid. Here's that potato. And then you're just going to hold and kind of press down on this while you're slicing and put your thumb. Okay. She's still going to get her chocolate.
Oh, I don't know.
Push on this and put your thumb here. So you're kind of, wait, I don't know. I'm living proof anybody can do this. There you go. All right, now I got it on there right. Okay, go ahead. But this is called the simple slicer, truly because it is very simple. Look at
It is,
I'm
scared of not doing it.
You are doing it. Look at your
More
work.
coming up. Oh, I see.
There she goes. And look at how beautifully she is. And you, I think you just got down. Yep, you're down to the bottom. Look.
Sweet.
She sliced all the way to the end. Her hands never got anywhere near the blade. Didn't she do awesome? Way to get chocolate.
Thank you.
You're like the chocolate queen. And then we're going to put it back on log to sort. This can go in your dishwasher safe. And look at these potatoes. Now, if we tried to do this with the knife, we'd never be able to do it. Look at that. Look how nice and thin. And you notice they are evenly sliced. And evenly sliced vegetables and fruits are what will make you a better cook. Because then when you go to stir fry or grill or do your potato chips, everything will cook evenly because they're all sliced evenly. And that is a tool that will help you do that. So that's called the simple slicer. So now we're going to finish topping this off, I think, with some
thinly sliced onion tops.
Yes, which I have all of my goodies and my toppings.
Sprinkle evenly with remaining cheese, bacon, and onion tops.
Oh, you gotta put more cheese. More cheese is always good.
Yummy.
You can never go wrong with more cheese. And I have all our little toppings here are in some of our bamboo bowls. I love our bamboo collection. If you look on page 40 to 41, you will see our entire bamboo collection. Pick a piece and try it out because it's beautiful. It is actually an earth-friendly, renewable resource because bamboo replenishes very quickly. So it's a very green resource, and I just love it. It's so pretty. It will complement any other pieces you already have in your home. I mean, it'll go with white, it'll go with red, it'll go with anything, any decor. And I especially love it, you know, if you're going to be doing like outdoor entertaining and, you know, you don't want anything breakable, but, you know, you don't want to use those cheap dollar store plastic platters, you can use your bamboo. It is, you know, it won't break, but it's still very stylish. And I'll actually pass this around so you can get a look at it and a feel for the finish. I just love it. So these are the small bowls that are coming around. And I think my favorite piece is that large platter that you see there because it's very lightweight. So it's not like a big heavy platter to start with, so you can load it up with, you know, lots like a big heavy ham or turkey or your cookies or whatever, and it's just wonderful. So there's our finished product. Yes.
Yeah, I cannot wait to try it.
Okay, and we just have one more thing that we have to discuss, which is our cookware. Now, how many of you in here are lovers of nonstick cookware? How about stainless cookware? How about ceramic cookware?
Oh, yeah.
Woo, how about word combination? Okay, everybody's turn to page, we have a cheat sheet 67, and you're going to see our cookware collection starts there. We actually have 3 full collections. We have the stainless, we have the executive, which is our nonstick, and we have our ceramic cookware now. Did I tell you the right page?
No.
Did not? Did I say 8? What did I say? Oh my God. Again, anybody can do this job. Page 8. Page 8. There we go. There we go. So, okay, just touch this. Make sure I didn't preheat it or anything like that. No? Okay.
Nope.
So I have here an ice cube. I have one sitting in my prep bowl. Awesome to have. Come as a collection of 6. They have their own little lids. Great for leftover storage. Little, like, miniature sized puddings, cakes, things like that. But I love them especially for leftovers because it's clear. So you'll see what's in there, and you'll actually eat it instead of 2 weeks later. You know, oh, we have a size experiment in it. So they come in the 1 cup size. There's also 2 cup and 3 cup as well. But I'm going to pass this around. I'll put 1 piece of ice in here, and then I have 1 sitting in the prep bowl. So we just kind of pass that around so you can get a feel. This is our non-stick cookware. It has a heavy gauge with titanium. Anybody know anything about titanium?
Strong.
Very strong, very durable. So that is very strong, very durable cookware. It is non-stick, not only on the inside, but also on the outside. Now, how many of you have maybe a Teflon pan at home, and you're passing off those little black flecks in your eggs as pepper, because your Teflon is peeling up? Unlike Teflon, which is a sprayed-on coating, this is not Teflon. It's DuPont Autograph Select. It is 3 layers of baked-on coating. This will never flake, never peel up, ever, ever, ever. Okay? And not only did they put that on the inside, but also on the outside, all around. So if you're a really messy cook, you're okay. You're good, Shauna. So did you guys notice any difference in our ice cubes?
That is melted.
This one is melting, where this one is not. And now, I know you got to touch it first, but now how does it feel?
It's freezing.
It's freezing cold, okay? What that means is all of our cookware has an aluminum core. And aluminum is one of the best conductors of heat. So it was actually absorbing the heat in the room to melt that ice cube, whereas the one that was sitting here was still just kind of hanging out. What that means to you when you cook in this cookware is you get, how many of you ever brown meat in a big skillet? Millipan's cooking meat on the edge is not. That won't happen in this cookware. It's going to cook the same here as it does here because of that core. So this is really great. It eliminates those hot spots and things like that. And I am a firm believer that you really need a little bit of either a non-stick version and a little bit of stainless in your kitchen. Everybody needs a little bit of both. So this is a great non-stick collection. This is our lifetime guaranteed cookware. Anything ever happens to this cookware, and Danielle, what page are you on? I should have directed you.
10.
10. You're going to see the whole executive collection. Great open stock pieces there. We've got a grill pan, a double burner griddle, a stir fry skillet. All of those are pieces that typically are not found in cookware sets. So even if you already have a set that you love, those open stock pieces are great pieces to add in your collection. And you know what I'm going to tell you. What am I going to say? Best way to get cookware is
Have a party.
get your friends together for a fun night and get it absolutely free. I love giving free cookware to my hosts. So non-stick, everybody needs a little bit of that in their kitchen, whether it's our executive or our new ceramic. If you turn to the next page, you're going to see our ceramic cookware. Now this is a great, really economical line of cookware. This is a great entry-level cookware, also non-stick. I have to say, the first thing I did in this was scrambled eggs. I used no oil at all. I couldn't believe it. Like, nothing sticks to it. It is really super easy to clean. And the great thing about this line of cookware is all of the pieces are open stock. So you don't have to necessarily invest in a whole big set. You can get, whatever pieces that you might like. Now if you'll flip back to the stainless, I always like to educate on stainless as well, because everybody does need, I think, at least one good piece of stainless in your kitchen. How many of you ever do a recipe where you have to brown meat and then pour a liquid in the pan to make a gravy or a sauce? Okay, I'm going to teach you some really fancy cooking terms then. When you brown that meat, you're doing it in stainless. Little bits of the meat will stick to the pan. That is called fond, F-O-N-D, okay? Then when you go to, ready for the next fancy term, deglaze your pan. All that means is you're pouring your chicken stock or your wine into the pan, but when you start stirring, you're deglazing your pan and you're releasing those little bits of fond. The fond is what gives that incredible flavor to your gravies and your sauces. But if you're doing that recipe in ceramic or our executive cookware, guess what? No fond, you're never going to get the same flavor. So everybody needs one good piece of stainless in their kitchen. And guess what? We have great host benefits. It's always great to do a show with Paper Chef. We just give you a couple things. I'm giving you fair warning here. You get just a couple things when you have a show with Paper Chef. Isn't it amazing? You're going to get free product. Do you remember how much on average we get? $100. That's right. You're also going to get half price product. And guess what you need to pick from? The whole entire catalog. But we also have half price product. We have a centerfold in our catalog now. We have a Paper Chef centerfold. If you look on page 35, I think it's 35, you're going to see the must-have centerfold pieces there. Those are 5 sets that you can all purchase tonight. That's like one-stop shopping that makes it easy. Look, there's that whole deep covered baker set. You can get your manual food processor set, your potato chip set. But as a host, you can actually pick those as your half-price items. And most hosts get up to 3 or 4 half-price items. So imagine how much you could be saving in getting half price.